Now, the diverse nature of art has made it possible for artists to experiment on various surfaces with various art materials. Hello and welcome to a spooky edition of Visual Impressions. I am Umar Muhammad. Now, this particular artist might seem bizarre, but I tell you, he is one of the most creative painters to ever emerge in the 20th century. When an artist works, he works with everything from his emotions to tears to fears and even blood. Yes, you heard me right. I said blood. This particular artist, Vincent Castiglia, has experimented on the deepest side of art by using his blood to paint surrealistic artworks. Take a look. Castiglia's paintings are monochromatic, examining life, death, and human conditions. His dominant work theme includes the symbiosis of birth and death, while many surrealists have fantasy or dream as their inspiration. In 2009, Gravity, one of his most celebrated works of 2006, was acquired by rock musician Greg Allman.
I'm Vincent Castiglia, and I'm here at Sacred Gallery, New York City, setting up my upcoming solo show.
A solo exhibition consists of one artist having a full body of work showing in a gallery at one given time. This gives the artist free range to have their own conceptual idea, to be able to use the space as they see fit to create an atmosphere on its own.
The show includes over 30 works spanning a decade, many of which are very large and have not been shown before.
Vincent is an American painter who is internationally acclaimed for his figurative paintings with metaphysical and often nightmarish subjects. Castiglia paints exclusively in human blood. Castiglia's work can be viewed as an examination of human experience caught in a cycle of inevitable decay and biological fertility. As decomposition and decay are so much a part of birth and death, and grow, one can see this cycle occur in his work.
Vincent's work is unlike anybody else's work that I've ever seen. I've seen some people that have kind of dabbled into the art blood world, and it didn't really translate as well as one would think. When you're dealing with someone like Vincent, his work is as fine art as it could possibly be. Most people that see his artwork don't even think at first that this is blood on paper. They think that it's watercolor or it's some sort of sepia tone pigments that he's using on there. So that first impression of, oh my God, this is something that I'm afraid of, is kind of thrown out the window because someone can actually see the piece for the beauty that it is.
Working in human blood, people would assume many things, you know, about me, or why I do it, or how it's done, or whatever. And it really just began as a way to connect as completely as possible with my work, you know, literally putting a part of me into every piece. I just really connected with the medium, and you know, right from the beginning, and it just evolved from there.
I frankly find it amazing when I first found out how large his paintings were, because I assumed, like, I heard that he used his own blood, so I assumed they would be smaller. So it makes you kind of think like he's like passing out, you know, doing these paintings. They're really, really large pieces here. They're really impressive. It's beautiful work. It's really like breathtaking and impressive. So it's a beautiful show.
Every painting is intrinsically a part of me, and in that way, it really dissolves the barrier between art and artist in the most literal sense.
Artist Vincent Castiglia doesn't need to buy paint. He makes his own. He has been painting in his blood for the last 10 years.
I could say the shedding of blood, it's a kind of rite of passage, you know, and it's such a intimate connection with the work. The name of the gallery is Sacred, and I thought it was so appropriate because this work is sacred to me in that each piece is a sacrifice, you know, and it is so much a part of me.
My name is Michael Vorhardt. You are watching Visual Impressions on NCA.
Artist Vincent Castiglia doesn't need to buy paint. He makes his own. He has been painting in his blood for the last 10 years. Though, while using his blood may save him a trip to the paint shop, it could also have its own downside, as he found while preparing for his show in 2008.
I probably lost track of how much I was collecting at the time because I was more concerned with the work than anything, and I was pretty weak, and then my lung happened to collapse.
When you're a solo artist in your own show, a lot of times galleries wind up giving the artist full range of whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want. And I mean, with Vincent stuff, you can see some pieces in the gallery that are 18 by 24, and then some pieces that are upwards of 8-9 feet tall. And I mean, that's his choice as an artist.
I've participated in group shows here at Sacred before, but this is my first solo show here. Great location and great people. You know, I've been friends with Kevin for a long time.
I've actually been able to see the progression of his artwork over the past decade, and I've been a huge fan and a huge supporter of what he's been doing. And you know, just being along for the ride and just watching what he's started with and where he's gone with it, I can't be more proud of him. I mean, I am super humble to any artist that shows in our gallery, and especially someone like Vincent, who's also a very close friend. I mean, I'm ecstatic, man. I mean, he's an awesome guy, and I'm happy to have him here.
Castiglia's use of only blood and water on paper, as well as the technique by which it is applied to his canvases, acquires more tonal range and textural possibilities than the rusty sepia associates with blood stains. The viewer is not only allowed to see into the figure, but also through it, into a deeper psychological world.
The more saturated it is, the more layers I'm putting on the painting. Obviously, the more blood, the more opaque I work, the more blood. I can collect 15 to 30 tubes at a go, and I'll work with that for a certain period of time.
This is the first time I've ever seen this. I've actually seen it online before, but not in person. It's really cool stuff, definitely even better in person.
Basically, he brought out everything that I felt inside, visually to a point, and his medium is beyond words.
I really believe a solo show gives the viewer the most intimate and rounded understanding of what it is that you're doing, you know. If you're looking at one piece individually, you can appreciate it for what that is, but you will not, you know, get the same thing as you would with a solo show, where you're really basically, in this case, are able to look at and delineate a decade's worth of journey.
His work may be familiar with slasher films and has been used for Rock Band's album. In 2010, one of his work was used as a poster for MTV horror film, Savage County.
It premiered on MTV too. The poster was a depiction of 3 characters in the film, which were the murderers.
Rams, equivalent bank of Nigeria, and you are watching the visual impressions of Puma with NTN.
Now, the 30-year-old describes his figures as being painted with what could be described as liquid flesh, and owning a painting of his is as good as having Vincent in your life forever. It's now time for our break teaser, and today's question is: who amongst these was a surrealist? A. Claude Monet, B. Salvador Dali, and C. Dominikos Theotokopoulos.
It's not just a show, it's a movement. 3 different women encouraging people everywhere to stand for something. Mean what you say and say what you mean. In short, don't just talk the talk, walk the talk. Walk the Talk is an exciting chat fest that provides a female perspective on today's headlines and other contemporary topics as affecting our lives today. We talk, we listen, have great conversation and loads of fun. You're in for a great time. We've got loads to talk about, and remember, don't just talk the talk, walk the talk.
Welcome back from the break. Now, before the break, I asked a question. Who amongst these artists was a surrealist? I said A. Claude Monet, B. Salvador Dali, and C. Dominikos Theotokopoulos. Well, the correct answer is B. Salvador Dali. Born Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dali on 11th of May 1904, best known for striking bizarre images in surrealistic style. In 1931, Dali painted one of his most famous works, Persistence of Memory. Also known for his work of art Mustache, which was one time voted as the most famous mustache of all time. Mae West Lips Sofa, another surrealistic work by Dali. The wood and satin sofa was shaped after the lips of actress Mae West, whom Dali apparently found fascinating. Now we just saw an artist who uses human blood exclusively to create his works. Now you will see the other side of art where colors are being embedded beneath the human skin, and this art form is called tattoo. Tattoo is a form of body modification. Tattoo has been practiced for centuries in many cultures and now spread throughout the world.
It's a typical setup how I start a tattoo. Just regular setup what I will do every single day. It's not anything special. Always have a setup for a liner, which is a 5 liner. Then I have a 9 shader, and then I use a 15 Magnum curve. Set up tons of color caps, and I set up the last row. Almost a third of the color caps are filled with distilled water. I only line what I want to currently work on. So I want to work on the bottom of the piece that I don't irritate this too much. So I start working here and then start shading here right away as well. And I can't even go that far that I'm gonna like coloring right away as well.
well-known example is the identification system for inmates in Nazi concentration camp. The Nazi introduced the practice of tattooing in 1941 in order to identify the bodies of registered prisoners. And today, it has taken a different dimension into the world of art. Before having a tattoo, remember it is permanent, or one has to go through a series of laser sessions. Some tattoos have gone bizarre. They have gone beyond anyone's comprehension.
Take your time. I shade. And then the next step I do is I take the golden yellow and I add some white to it. And use it with the mixing solution. And that gives it that strong blend. I don't like to have any empty areas in the tattoo. So every empty skin should be covered. And if it looks white, like the head of the eagle, then we're gonna make it solid white.
I'm Vincent Castiglia of Arcanum Tattoo, and we're doing a piece on my client Joe today. He's getting the Coney Island Cyclone. Every part of the tattoo is developed in stages, you know, so we're putting in a foundation pass, which is the lightest gray, and then I'm building it up as I go along. So we'll put the initial pass in, and then we start developing the details from there on in. And I usually aim to complete one area at a time, bring it to about 90%. 90% meaning that in the end I get back into it and tighten it up, you know, let it settle in there, heal, and then do some more with the detail.
That I know that I can shade on top of it later on. The paper towel wet as well, because that it doesn't smear the colors together, you know. If you dry wipe it, you wipe it into an open wound. should have everything done, so it shouldn't take too long anymore.
You just saw some bloody artwork, which is probably the best description since the pieces were made exclusively from human blood and those wonderful artworks done on human skin. Well, that is all we can take on visual impressions for this week. Thank you for having your time. I am Omar Mohammed and it's bye for now.